Hi, this is Andrew Shreve, the Gretsch Drums brand manager. Welcome to the 2020 Winter NAMM Show. And you're here at the Gretsch booth. We're here to celebrate a number of new instruments and new launches. So starting here in our snare drum program, we have the new Brooklyn Standard snare drum. And this was designed in collaboration with world-class drummer and educator Mike Johnston. And the goal behind the snare drum was we wanted to introduce a drum to where when a drummer is ready to spend a decent amount of money in for an instrument, and he's willing to look into one that's going to work in so many musical settings and contexts, and wanted to really look for a drum that you could basically almost use one snare drum for so many different settings, this would be the one. It starts with a Brooklyn shell, but what we did, instead of a standard 30-degree bearing edge, we cut a double 45-degree bearing edge on it, which increases the sensitivity and dynamics of the drum. Added to that, we put a 42-strand wire to also increase the sensitivity and dynamics. Following that, we also put a tone control to add a muting process on it, so if somebody wanted to have a little bit more controllability on the instrument, you can use that as an option as well. Moving down to the Brooklyn straight satin snare drums, we just added a clear satin, a clear stain to this particular drum just to give it the most natural finish that's available in maple. It's available in a 5, 5.5, and 6.5 by 14. Also on a lightning and also a micro-sensitive throw-off. Additionally, we have the new USA Custom black copper snare drum. It's a 1.2 millimeter copper shell, but we applied a black powder coating finish to give a little bit more controllability and to reduce the wild frequencies of the shell. And additionally, we laser engraved the Gretsch logo to expose the copper shell itself. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful instrument. It's available in a 5 by 14 and a 6.5 by 14. Following that, we have the full range Grand Prix snare drum. We have it available in a 5 by 14 and a 6.5 by 14 snare drum. It's a 1.2 rolled aluminum shell with a 45-degree bearing edge and the 302 double flange hoops. That wraps up the snare drums. Moving here to the Renown series, we have the Satin Antique Blue Burst, which is new to Renown. It's a finish that's available in all shell packs and all add-on toms. Moving here, we have a new venture in our Catalina Special Edition, which is the Walnut Burst finish. But this is the first time that in the Catalina family we've done a hybrid shell, which consists of a 7-ply shell. It's 2 walnut, 3, 4, and 5 plies are maple. The 6 and 7 ply is walnut. We've rounded it out with the wood hoops to give it more of a vintage element, but also warms up the shell as well. These particular drums are only going to be available for 2020. This configuration is at 8 by 12, 14 by 18, 14, 14, and 5.5 by 14. The second configuration is going to consist of a 14 by 22, 8 by 12, 14, 14, and 16, 16 floor tom, 6.5 by 14 snare drum. So now moving into the new USA drums, we have a new build option called the Heritage Build. Now for many years, for decades, Gretsch has always had this as an option for a build option if you want to do a center lug, something a little bit more vintage looking and celebrate, older style kit. But we've never really talked about it. Now we're celebrating that. It's the new Heritage Build. It's available on both Broadcaster and USA only. Also, we have a new rail mount system, which we designed, and this is a rail mount that is much more industrial and much more tour friendly, to where the vintage rail mount, of course, it's been around for decades, but it was not as functional as the new rail mount. We have the knurl bar, which gives additional grip, have the memory lock here, and then we have also the memory lock on the L-arm, and it's a 12.7 L-arm available as well. Moving over to Brooklyn, it's a new finish called the Blue Burst Pearl. It's available on all Brooklyn shell packs and add-on drums as well. And finally, we're proud to introduce the USA Custom Limited Edition River Cypress. This particular drum kit is a standard USA shell, but instead of the outer ply being maple, we actually applied cypress wood. But river cypress, I don't get it. Well, this particular shell, this particular veneer, we had a log that was submerged in between 60 to 150 years under the South Carolina River Basin. So that's what gives it this beautiful, beautiful look. It's not a burst that we applied to the shell. This is a natural color from the resin and the residue that's seeped into the log that's been under the river basin for so long. Only available in 2 configurations, an 8x12, 14x18, 14x14, and a 5x14. Second configuration is a 16x22, 8x12, 16x16, and 6.5x14. We're going to make 60 kits total, 30 in this configuration, and then 30 in the 22 configuration. But beautiful, beautiful drums. We're very proud of them, and they sound fantastic, look fantastic. A fantastic collector's piece for any Gretsch user. That pretty much rounds up the tour. Thank you for visiting. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching. To be notified of more videos from our trip to NAMM this year, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon. Leave a comment or question below and check out our video playlist of all the latest and greatest products at NAMM.